in the provocation of black populations to riot, so that under the cover of bringing law and order, they may impose martial law on those populations and destroy those populations. This is the kind of game that hides itself behind a bourgeois leadership. I wanted to tell you the other evening when I was over at Brother Roy's about bourgeois radio. We didn't have time. You have to recognize one thing, you see. When we talk about the media in America, we look at who owns the media. You see, and we know that this media is owned by about 10 corporations that own about 80% of the media. Few companies owning over 200 cable companies and so forth. And you see the struggle now over who's going to own the cable operations, who's going to control communications in America. And we recognize then that those who own the media, because what? A free press only belongs to the person who what? Owns one. Okay? That obviously if the bourgeois element in America and the ruling elite in America owns the media, then the media will be used by that class to carry out its programs and its ideologies. And it will use the media to try to brainwash and falsify the consciousness of African people. But while we look at that, we must look at the ownership of our own media. Yes. And see what class of people own that media. Then you can solve the puzzle as to why that media is always preaching to you about voting. As if voting was the only source of power in America. Because those people that own those stations achieve their social position and power through America's electoral system. That's why it's important to them. Because the class of people that own those stations and control those stations got their position through what? Electioneering and by being attached to the Democratic Party. And one thing that a bourgeois leadership and a leadership elite tries to do is to convince the masses that the masses can have their interests satisfied by satisfying the bourgeois' interests. And therefore, when they get elected to office, or they get high appointed office, they tell you, ain't we progressing? Doesn't that mean an advancement for black folk? When they are the only one who have advanced, and you don't have a new nickel in your pocket as a result of their being in this position. And so they want to make you think that their elections and their ability to wheedle out of the Democratic parties and the Republican parties money that advance their economic interests represents an advancement for you. And therefore they fail to give you a true education as to what politics is really about in America. And power in America is not in voting. You have to understand that. Why? If you'd even review your own history, you would recognize that what you call your most significant victories were gained before you gained the right to vote in 1964 and 1965. Did you vote to get the vote?
All right. Absolutely not. All right.
Huh? Recognize what you're going on here. But someone will tell you that there's no other way. But what did we say? Power in America is based in America's corporations. Is determined by those who own the means of production and who own property. Power and property ownership go together in America. No property-less people, no people who own no productive businesses are in power in America. I don't care what kind of votes they have. And recognize this, that where the power is, you cannot vote them out of power. Because those who run America's multinational corporations and run America's institutions don't run for office. They tell the people in office what to do. And therefore, if you're to wield real power in America, you must own the sources of power. And those sources mean the ownership of productive facilities and the ownership of property. And the control of major institutions and the ability to weld yourself together as a people and to control your consumption and to control your behavior in ways that you can exert your influence upon this system. But yet we get a medium that tells people, vote, vote, go out and vote. And you're going to suffer all the more as a result thereof. Yes, you got to face the reality. You got to know where it's going. Power lies in strategy. It lies in technique. It lies in alignments. You see. Why were blacks before they got to vote able to change the South? Through voting? Through alignments, through alliances, through control of their consumer rights. As you said time and time again, that to a great extent the civil rights movement was a consumer movement. It was a situation where blacks refused to spend their money in particular ways and in particular places. And by withdrawing their consumption, they were able to change the South before a single law was passed in their favor. Just the ability of black people to line up side by side and shoulder to shoulder and to march in one straight line changed the face of the South. So what does it say? Just the ability to sit in front of a door and not permit other people to pass is power. The ability to chain yourself down is power, ladies and gentlemen. Ultimately, it means that power arrives out of cooperation, out of alignment, out of strategy, and out of technique, and out of a sense of purpose and mission, and out of the ability to withdraw support. By voting in this system of domination in a way you legitimate your own domination as a people. And you have to watch it. Let's learn where power is, and that's what we're going to be talking about in Blueprint for Black Power. Where is it? We have this NAACP, this assimilationist, moralist leadership that sees the solution of black problems as involving the assimilating with people. But I just got through telling you that blacks are now more segregated than ever. So if our power depends on assimilation, we're in deep trouble. Yes. We have some group of preachers who try to tell you that the major problem in America is moral. Yes, that's why I call them moralists. That these people are stereotyped or some kind of way. And if we get them understanding, you see these little silly ads on TV, you know, stop the hate. As if this was going to change something. As if the problem is hate. If the problem is they have a wrong knowledge of who you are. Come on. Yes. That the problem is one of morals. And therefore, what we got to do is convert these white people to their own religion. And we got to make them true believers in their own constitution. And that way we will be free. You're out of your mind. Every revolution has had to deal with the issue of whether you should struggle for abstract rights or struggle for a right to meet the basic needs of the people. This was the issue that Booker was working with too. He was weighing that issue. Is the voting the really primary thing, getting black people to vote? Getting civil rights the primary thing? Or should we see about feeding the people first, building an economic base and then moving into the civil rights and voting period. When we look at the history of other immigrant groups and ethnic groups, we've seen them almost be silent on the issue of voting and civil rights and so forth, as they moved into the black communities and other communities and established an economic base. And then after getting an economic base, using that base as a political tool. You see now the vendors are being swept from the streets of Brooklyn, and they're being swept from the streets of Harlem on black folks' money. You sat up here and you supported these Koreans. You didn't see color when you spent your money. You wouldn't let somebody else tell you how to spend my money. And they paid you back. You talked about multiculturalism, and yet not a one of you is in partnership with a Korean. Not one of you is in partnership with an Arab. Not one of you is in partnership with white folk. Where are the multicultural businesses? Where are the multicultural economic situations? What are you talking about, multiculturalism? Where is it? They laid it on you. And yet in Blueprint for Black Power, I talk very straightforwardly about the Korean organizations. I named the presidents. We're calling names here, ladies and gentlemen. And they are called the Korean Producers Association, the Korean Grocers Association, the Koreans of Greater New York Association, not Multicultural Association, not Multicultural Grocers Association. No, Korean grocers, Korean producers. You understand? But we are for people of color. They're even buying your politicians. A month or two ago, they took a group of these Negroes from the Black Caucus to Korea, wined them and dined them, presented seminars about race harmony to them. So your own legislative people will become their cogs and will be used by them to operate against your very interest because you were colorblind and you wanted to assimilate.